Robert Mailing for the Sioux Empire podcast here, and I'm here with Jacob, who's running for City Council, Northwest District. Jacob, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Over the past few weeks, I've gotten sick of talking about myself. But I grew up here in South Dakota in Sioux Falls on the southwest side of town. My parents are still in that same house. For the first 19 years of my life, I attended school here, went to Roosevelt High School. At the age of 19, I decided to be a missionary. So I went to Argentina for a couple of years. Picked up some of the language and the culture, got to see a lot and talk to a lot of different people.
Argentina, Portuguese or Spanish?
Spanish speaking.
Okay.
Yep. And so I didn't know that before I went, I'll be honest with you. But got a lot of influence from their culture and understanding of their culture. And then came back with a huge appreciation of coming back to the United States, as you might expect. Came back, went to school, worked various jobs like that out west, and in the year 2012, my wife and I came back to Sioux Falls and started our family. Since then, I've been here in Sioux Falls. When I saw that there was a position open for the Northwest District where we currently live, something inspired me to take a run at it.
Okay, so my first question is going to be about recreational spending. That's something that a lot of my listeners have been asking about, specifically in regards to where do you stand on projects like the Aquatic Center or like the Denny Senford Premier Center and that kind of vein of projects. What are your thoughts on that?
Recreational spending. That kind of goes typically to what a lot of people would call quality of life issues here in Sioux Falls, having the opportunity to do various things, see various things, get out of the house. Obviously, that's super important. I know some of these have been highly contentious debates that we've had over these issues. Maybe touching on another topic, which we'll get to, there is something to be said for the fiscal restraint, though. There are so many different projects that we would like to do and could do. There's almost an infinite variety of things, but there are seriously limited. There are budget restraints, and I know from just looking around, especially when you look at the taxes that we receive here in the city of Sioux Falls, that don't seem to be going for what they were intended to go for, going for these big projects. I personally love getting outdoors. I love the bike trails. I love the idea of an aquatic center. It's all kind of said and done at this point, but I would like to see a little more restraint on some of these issues.
Okay, keeping in the theme of the restraint and another bullet point my listeners have been asking about, which is fiscal responsibility. Particularly, one thing they've been wondering is how would you, for all the candidates, how would you vote on the new city administration offices building that is being proposed?
As of right now, I would probably hold off. As a simple answer, I know that the administration, some of the city heads would like to see that go forward. They spent a lot of time and effort on it already. But I guess for me personally, I would like, and they've talked about this, having to re-educate the new councilors. They would like to get it through before, the election, so that they don't have to re-educate the new councilors on it. But I would probably need some convincing. I would like to see it. I understand that there's space limitations, but we are putting, again, more towards debt in this city if we go ahead with this administration building, which I think at this time we could hold off on. But if they can make a better case for it, I'm perfectly willing to listen. I won't say that I'm going into it with just a negative mindset, but I would have to have it kind of proven to me, I guess.
Okay, and one more thing on the spending front. A lot of people are asking about infrastructure, and being, small municipal government, what that boils down for a lot of people, I have a feeling, is potholes. So what's your thoughts on potholes? Are you for them or against them? No. And then more broadly infrastructure spending here in Sioux Falls?
Yes, I'm anti-pothole. Let no mistake be made. Yeah, I think the infrastructure is something that just on a daily basis grinds on people. When you hit the same pothole every day on the way to work or something like that, the frustration that builds at seeing some of these things that it seems like they should have been taken care of already. I think the city, obviously, there is just a huge demand put on them. I think they do a really great job for the most part. But I would like to see, again, some of those funds redirected to the infrastructure. Quality of life, we talk about some of these funner things, but having said that, it's almost more important on a daily day. They're not flashy things. Having roads to get to and from things it's not as fun to spend money on that, but it's a necessity. And I mean, it's as close to a necessity as just food and water that the people being able to get around town.
Okay, and then one more topic from the listeners was crime and public safety. What's your policy and thoughts on those?
Again, anti-crime. I think there needs to be the resources allotted, obviously, to the police department, but it's not just a matter of saying, well, the police, they have a job and they have to do it. We need to support them in that. Everyone hates getting speeding tickets or parking tickets, things like that. They hate having to deal with some of those minor things, but the reality is we need to support the police. As long as they're doing their job and they're doing it lawfully, we should be helping them, having citizens involved in watching out for what is occurring and giving information when they see things, know things. Sioux Falls has historically been a very low crime place. I've seen much worse, and part of that is just the citizens helping, and so that people know that when you come here, you're not going to commit crimes and just get away with it. There's going to be people out there in the community other than just the police.
And one last question that I try to remember to ask everyone. As a resident of the Northwest District and of Sioux Falls, why should I vote for you?
I ask that question every day. As I've been doing some of these events and speaking with the other candidates just on a very limited basis, and as they're up on stage with me as we're going to these events, I get the feeling that we do have a good group of people up here. I feel that it's very easy to just, in politics especially, like national politics, things like that, it's easy to classify people, label them real quick, and then you say yes or no. Maybe because I'm involved in it, I can really see that these are just everyday people that want to, for a host of reasons, serve the community. We have a great kind of a batch of people, as I've noticed. I feel that I'm in kind of that same league. I'm just a regular, everyday person. Had my share of hopes and dreams and had some of them dashed in the process, but I want to simply be a part of city government. I think it should be something that an everyday person can get involved in, that there shouldn't be really, any type of person that should be involved. It should be from every occupation, from every, social and economic background. So I do feel like I represent that. I hope to have... I believe that I represent that class of people, an everyday citizen. I hope to get more and more involved and have a better understanding. I know there's kind of a learning curve on some of this stuff, but to simply look at the issues, feel out what the people of Sioux Falls want, and balance that against what needs to be done.
All right, and one final thing. Do you have any websites or social media that people should be aware of, or any ways that they can contact you or learn more about you?
The best answer I could give you is probably email or phone. I haven't set up a website. I'm actively not seeking donations or to spend any money on advertising. I think the city and the citizens have, there's been plenty of good opportunities, including interviews like this, to hear the candidates. Things like signs and all that. I don't know that gives much information out, so I've tried to avoid doing something like that. But if there's questions or concerns or support, I'd love to have people call or email me. I can give you my phone number. It's 370-4901. Happy to take calls and talk to people about that.
All right, Jacob, thank you very much.
Thank you. I very much appreciate it.